You're now tuned in to another edition of Community Soldier. I'm your host, Justin. I'm really no one, just another community soldier. To a dope track from my boy John Willis, aka Church Boy Willie. It's called Happy.
Hello, my imaginary friends. You've shown yourselves to me when I need a friend. Hello, my imaginary friends. You had me at hello. I'm happy, I am. I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy till the end. You've always been my friend when I need to pretend. I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy till the end. You've always been my friend when I need to pretend. Hello, how have we become so vain? I talk to myself now, and my friends say it's strange, but they don't know. They don't know how the days begin to change. I've lost myself, I see. You came unto me, and now I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. I am. You've always been my friend when I need to pretend. I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy till the end. You've always been my friend when I need to pretend. I'm happy, sing my song like a bird. Sing my song like a bird. Sing my song like a bird. Like a bird. Sing my song like a bird. Like a mockingbird. Sing my song like a bird. Like a bird. I'm happy. I'm happy till the end. You've always been my friend when I need to pretend. I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy till the end.
Shout out to John Willis, aka Church Boy Willie. That was a good one. He's happy. Oh, he's happy. Welcome to a new edition of Community Soldier. Once again, I'm broadcasting from my home, following the governor's orders on our lockdown. Today, we got a special guest today. Her name is Miss Davita Quinn. Most of you guys might know her from her outstanding work she does in the community. She's a part of Jackson County ISD Trusted Advisor. She's the CEO of Family Life Solutions. She's a counselor, mentor, global motivational speaker, life coach for girls, and she teaches online. We're going to get her on the phone today. Going to see if we can pick her brain a little bit. You know, there's many levels to being a community soldier. And I just wanted to show you guys one today. All right, we got Miss Quinn on the line. We're going to ask her a couple questions, but first, I just want to introduce you, let everybody know who you are, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Davita Quinn, and I am owner of Family Lifestyle Solutions. I have been in the Jackson community for the last 10 years, working and helping and volunteering, doing the things that I like to do, along with being a chemist for the city of Jackson.
Okay, nice. So, tell me about Family Life Solutions.
Family Lifestyle Solutions was birthed out of the need of the community in here in Jackson. I went back to school at Spring Garden University about 4 years ago, and I got a degree in family life education specifically so that I could give back to educate young girls and women aged 13 to 21, because I saw a need. The girls were failing, and they would be in traffic, and they would get into trouble. And so I decided that I wanted to help them stay in school, prevent dropouts, teach entrepreneurship, and I wanted them to learn how to love themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so that's what Family Lifestyle Solution is all about, is helping and mentoring and life coaching girls.
Well, you said the key word, which was love themselves. As a caseworker, I find it hard getting people who have been on the streets for years and years to find that self-love and to love themselves. So I think if you can get to it a little earlier, it might be easier for them to get that self-love.
That's exactly correct, and that's why I chose that age group, because about 13, even in myself, I kind of wanted to stray away from my parents and kind of do what my friends was doing and doing what others was doing. And so that age 13 is where you could be swayed a little bit. So I would like to do the swaying and sway those girls into positivity.
Yes. Actually, it's funny that you said that. 13 is the age that science has shown that children who suffer from ACEs, they start to come up with their coping mechanisms. And for me, myself, 13 was the age that I started smoking cigarettes.
Okay.
So the science does support that. So what type of things have you done in the community? Like what type of events are you involved in the past that you've been able to do?
Okay. I have helped the young ladies in the area with learning one thing in school. I've been going into the public school district here in Jackson for about the last, I would say, 6 years, helping girls with communication building, pregnancy. We've been talking about, of course, sex and venereal diseases and counseling and talking about trafficking. That word just keeps coming back once again because our girls are swayed, and so they have decided that if they could get paid to do something, that they could get what they want, but then end up with something that they really don't want. Mm-hmm. So I've been doing workshops around trafficking at Spring Garden University. When I was involved with the House of New Beginnings, we've been talking about how we can set the standard and make a difference with the girls at Northwest High School, Da Vinci, T.A. Wilson, going in, doing class time, talking with the students, making a plan of action of how they can go from where they're at to the next step, and make a plan for themselves, because we want them to be independent, but we want them to know that there are some adults that care and that they have someone who they can count on. That's really important.
Yes, I agree. And these are these are challenging topics to bring to school systems. I mean, I'm sure that you get some kind of pushback from educators, talking about some of these topics.
Sure I do. But if I can get the involvement of the parents, that's one of the things that family life education includes the parents. When you get the parents involved in trying to help their young people, then you don't have to so much go through the school system all the time. So I'm able to talk with the parents, the mothers, the grandparents, or the caregivers of these girls, and even some boys, to help them understand that you have to face this thing head on, because now kids, they are doing all sorts of manners of things, even having birth at 12, 13, 14. And that we don't want. We don't want. We just have to make a change now.
Yeah.
So the pushback, I don't even take the pushback.
Yeah, I think by educating the parents, that's the way to go. I see organizations are starting to get it, like Community Action Agency in the Head Start program. They also have counselors and people who can come to the home and also help the parents get the needs that they need so that the children get what they need. I think through the parents,
Exactly.
Training through the parents and educating through the parents is going to be the way to go. So I see you do a lot of work with teenagers. Do you think that's the key age where we're failing to reach them, like you said before?
Oh, definitely. Even some younger, I've had an occasion to work with some younger girls, like with Teen Challenge and with Girl Scouts of America, where those girls start sometimes as early as 5th grade, 4th grade, 3rd through 5th grade. And those girls, too, they need somebody to be able to talk to, someone to mentor them, someone to help them along on the path so that they don't fall into pitfalls.
Yes.
Because now with the different things that's going on, just like last year or so, they changed the bathrooms to whatever it is that you want to be. You could go in that bathroom. Well, we had some kids like not knowing what's going on here.
Yeah.
At an earlier age. So we just have to adapt to what we need to do to make sure that all kids are growing up in a healthy, safe environment, and that they understand by this communication, we have to talk to our children. You can't leave them out because they see everything on social media, TV, news. They see everything.
Yes, and I think that is a problem. We can't censor, because when we censor, it makes us to look like we're hiding things, and they find it out on their own anyway, like you said.
Yes.
So in Jackson, we see large numbers of children dropping out of school. Do you think that it's time for our school systems in general to do something different, to evolve a little bit?
Oh, definitely. It's really time for a change in the educational system. We need to be more equitable, but we need to be able to focus and find that group that we need to help. And so if that means having large populations of counselors, mentors, scholars, teaching, you need to be able to have teachers who look like your children in the school building.
Very important.
I'm in some school buildings, and I see no male black teachers. I don't see a lot of female black teachers, Hispanic teachers. And when you don't have that, sometimes you don't understand the population in which you teach. I have a grandchild in a school right now, and they make their teacher cry. I said, "What do you mean your teacher cries? She cries because she can't handle us. She don't know where we're coming from. She can't teach us. That's ludicrous."
Yeah, it's
so
not
we
uncommon.
have to do something.
I agree. And the thing is, I think we're going to have to start with us and the next generation. We have to let our young men know that it is cool to pursue higher education and go to school and come back and be a teacher. We don't glorify these things enough, and these young men, they think that their only option is to either work in a factory or be on the street somewhere or do something other menial to survive. I mean, our young men in Jackson, they don't see that there's other careers for them. outside of working in a factory or just being on the streets.
That is so true. That is so true. And I think that's where we have one agency in town. I'm just thinking about Save Our Youth.
Yes.
You know, that Save Our Youth organization with Thomas Berg, he is working on such a project right now with young men. He's got a march that's coming up. And I think we'll still be able to do the march even if we have to practice social distancing, right?
I don't know. I have to look into it.
Okay. Because our young men, they're hurting. They're hurting for someone to stand up and say, hey, look at me. You know, put on a suit and a tie when you go to school. Pull your pants up. Be the head of your class. They are really smart. Our boys are very smart.
Yes.
But they haven't had the culture to tell them that they're smart. Because then other people look at them and say, oh, man, you just a nerd. You're just trying to be something that you're not. But you are what you're supposed to be, smart. A smart, young, educated black male.
Yep, exactly. And that's why I do appreciate Mr. Thomas Burke, because for everything that he's doing, he is showing a good example, and he is giving back in the community in more ways than a lot of people are going to appreciate at first.
Yeah.
So education, this is going to lead me to my next questions. I believe like the education system is failing us in some ways. There's key things about life that we are not teaching our children before they graduate out of high school. I believe education of real life skills and financial literacy should be topics that we push to our children in the future. What ways would you incorporate them in your classroom or with the children that you're mentoring?
Well, I'm already doing that because to be in my program, you have to be an entrepreneur. You have to start your own smart business. So the girls, they create a name for themselves for a business. I take them down to the county building, and we get them a DBA, a doing business ad. Wow. That business is now theirs. I make them understand the whole structure of a business, how to do your books, how to set a budget, how to buy and sell goods, how to make a profit. I set all those things in place so they can know already at a young age on how to be financially stable and how to set up a structure so that you don't have to work for anyone. Wow. You can work for yourself. You could be your own boss.
Yeah, that's amazing. And, you know, I stumbled. It's funny because I stumbled across these things. When I first came home from prison in 2015, I had changed my life. I really wanted to work, but I couldn't get the opportunities to make a living for myself. So I learned about creating the business. I started ordering supplies from China. And when I actually went and did the steps to start my own business and saw how easy it was, I just couldn't believe it. I was so surprised. I kept telling people, like, man, it's so easy to do it. Like, why don't more people do it?
Yes.
It's amazing.
Very easy.
That's amazing that you teach the children that, because I mean I've tried to explain that to like even some of the local drug dealers that I know around the town. And I tell them, you know, there's a better life for you. I always explain to them how the money that they're making pretty much equates to the same money that we're making at work, you know, but we're making that money and we're not having the stress of all of that stress that you have to go through. And we don't have that anxiety of knowing that the products that we're pushing is actually hurting people and destroying their lives and even killing them, you know. And they all see how this life leads them to a dead end. They all see that, but they just don't see a way for them to get out. So I always try to explain how them becoming an entrepreneur works in the same way. You know, I say you can buy a product from China like socks. You buy 1,000 socks for this one price, and you sell it for this price, and you make your money back and your profit. You know, it's just that easy. But it's just so hard for them to transfer out of that world and into something that's legal. And I feel like if we teach that to young children early, they'll get that and they'll really see the difference.
Exactly.
I mean, they just don't understand how real it is. I think I've met guys that hustled all of their lives, and they're in their 70s and 80s, and they're on Social Security, and they're like, my Social Security is the lowest that I could possibly get because I never worked. I never put in enough money to even have a real Social Security check. They're like, so what kind of life can I have for the rest of my life? You know, there's no retirement plan in that choice of work, basically.
And that's true. Yeah, that is very true. But sometimes they didn't have the encouragement or the mentorship or the hope or the faith to be able to move from being a drug dealer to an entrepreneurship that's legal.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can do a drug deal, you already doing math, you already balancing books, you already counting your money. You've just changed that from illegal to legal.
Yeah, and it's not a hard transition. I started with the weirdest thing. I started with those fidget spinners. Remember those little weird things the kids was playing with?
Yeah.
I ended up catching them. Like, soon as they got here, I caught wind of them, and I found suppliers in China that would sell me the fancy ones for $1, and I would turn around and sell them for $5 and $10, and it was just the best little thing I had going on. It was crazy to me how much money you could make off of doing that, something that was perfectly legal, you know, and it was the same concept that these guys do when they're selling illegal products.
Definitely.
My last question for you, and I don't want to hold up all your time, is this is a good question I always ask every person that comes on the show. This is a straight Jackson question. If you could change one thing, whether it be a policy or a stigma or just something that we do around here or a law to benefit the people of Jackson, what would that be and why is it?
If I could change anything in Jackson, it would be the chance for equitable education for all. Why I say that? It's simple. Education is the key to wealth building, a way that levels the playing field for all, a structure where all can get the help that they need.
Amen, sister.
And it's really easy to do. It is. It really is easy to do. And we are going to be working on such a structure. This pandemic has really shown us that a structure, a revitalization, is important. This right here shows that the system is not working, and especially for the underprivileged society. Our kids are at home with no computers, no internet, nobody to teach it for the next couple of months, and hopefully, prayerfully, that the parents get on board and teach them something for the next 4 to 5 months before they get back to school. But education is the place that I would start tackling immediately.
Exactly, because, I mean, we're all guilty. I mean, I myself am guilty of the school of choice and send your kid to schools outside of their district because you know that they're going to get a better education. And that's the sad reality, because when we do that, it actually affects our neighborhood and the children that are living in our neighborhood, and we don't even realize it.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Well, I thank you very much for your time today. I appreciate you for everything that you're doing in the community. You're definitely a community soldier. We just wanted to give you a round of applause.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on today. I'm not going to hold you up anymore. You have a good day, Miss Quinn, and you stay safe out there.
All right, thank you.
All right. That was Miss Quinn. She's definitely a community soldier. Shout out to her. Shout out to her. Man, on another news, people have already started to receive their stimulus checks from the government. I see that there is a coronavirus stimulus payment web tool to notify the IRS of who you are. And just in case you didn't file taxes last year or you haven't been filing taxes, you can still qualify for this stimulus if you go to irs.gov and click the link for the coronavirus stimulus payment web tool. If you have not filed taxes for this year, you can still go on myfreetaxes.com and file your taxes. Simple file. It's real easy. Before all of this started and the social distancing order came out, they used to help people do it in the library. I'm not sure what the library staff is, if they are available by phone to help you through the process or not. But from what I understand, if you go on myfreetaxes.com, it's very easy to do, very self-explanable. Looks like Governor Whitmer has approved for nearly 900,000 Michigan students to receive food stamp benefits. One of the first states to do so. If you have a child who is of age 5 through 18 years old who is enrolled in Michigan Department of Education program that provides free and reduced price school meals, you are going to receive some of that funding. Unfortunately, it says if you do not currently have a food stamp card, you're going to have to wait until one comes in the mail. If you already have a food stamp card, they're just going to load that money on there. The governor has extended our lockdown once again. People just don't want to stay in the house. That's all it is. And for them, all the people that don't want to stay in the house, we give you a round of applause. You got to shut down once again. But it is what it is, right? That was a good interview with Miss Quinn. She spoke a lot about being equitable, equality. What is equality? Wanting everything to be the same? Everybody to start from the same start? No, it's just giving everybody the same ability to do whatever it is that they want to do. I understood equity growing up. I went to high school, Plainfield High School. I remember being in the math class in high school. It was Algebra 1. I was having a hard time in the class. And I would tell the teacher, I don't understand any of this. And you wouldn't be able to understand it either. And she says, I don't see anybody else having a hard time. Why is it that you can? Well, frankly, it's because I don't have a textbook. In my high school, students had to share textbooks sometimes. And you couldn't take the textbooks home. Sometimes they had to stay in the classroom for the next group of students who would need to use those same textbooks. And they would be outdated, of course. But that was just the way it was in the schools in the low-income neighborhoods. This is what we're talking about when we're talking about equality in the education systems. You see some schools get brand new iPads for children to work on in the early years from kindergarten. Some schools don't get them at all. These are the things that we need to work on with our education system, I believe. And I even wrote an article about this. I said that our phones and our technology updates faster and more than our education system. Our education system was designed to teach people how to get to work and to work in factories and be productive citizens. And it was for women to be in the house and to cook. That's what schools was designed for. That's why they had economics, home ec, where they teach the girls how to bake cookies, and they had classes for men like mechanical shop or woodworking. But they started to phase those out of the schools, and they didn't replace them with anything, with any real substance or anything with real value. I mean, we're starting to see schools pick up some programs now. Like you see Northwest Schools has a program with Consumers Energy that has a fast track program from high school to career. We need to see more of that. I think Jackson schools are going to come to a point where they need to evolve in order for our children to succeed. I believe that we need to teach financial literacy to children at an earlier age. I mean, I was a kid who went to the military, and I was 18 years old. I didn't understand credit. And here I'm an 18-year-old kid, and all of a sudden my credit is amazing because I'm in the military. So I'm going on car lots, and I'm signing off for cars without $1 in my pocket. But the car lot is just letting me sign off with a brand new car. I'm walking through Macy's, and the sales lady knows that I'm in the military, and she's already writing me up for a Macy's car. I'm 18, guys. You don't know what to do with those things at 18. And we need to teach our children that. Already, when you see people who are living in generational poverty, which is your family is poor, your grandparents were poor, your grandparents before them were poor. So your family has been poor for generations of generations. When you're in generational poverty, you see that the mindset will also be stuck in generational poverty. To get out of that, you have to educate the mind and show them something different. Just like what she spoke about, teaching the young women how to start their own business. It's very easy to do. You go down to the courthouse. It costs a couple dollars. It's not much. I think it's $5 or $15. Can't remember exactly for sure. It's been a while since I did it. But it's very cheap. It's very easy to do. Start a business really quick. 2020 is all about technology, programming, coding. These are the things that we need to be teaching our children. Not how to be factory workers. No disrespect to the men that work in factories, because you can work in a factory and make really good money. But the thing is, the factory only wants 20 years of your back. You're going to give them 20 years of your back. And what are you going to get out of it after those 20 years of your back? We could teach our children to learn how to program those CNC machines. Because then they're going to be prepared for the future. Not many men know how to actually program a CNC machine to run a specific program, or who can actually fix a CNC machine when one goes down. They have to call specialists when a line goes down to come in and fix the CNC machine so that the regular workers can continue to do whatever it is that they were doing before. I think these are the things that we need to teach our children, man. I mean, the world is changing. Robots are replacing us. I mean, I remember one of the first jobs I had was to be a bagger at the grocery store, because you could do that at 14 or 15, I can't remember. 14 or 15, you could be a bagger or a cart pusher at the grocery store when I was growing up. That was the first job you can get. Then you worked your way up. As you got older, you got to be a cashier, you was winning. That was like gravy for a teenager. To be a cashier. Now you hardly ever see teenage cashiers. Hardly ever. They used to be the first job that you can get when I was young. Fast food used to be one of the very first jobs a teenager could get was in the fast food. Now we're seeing more and more adults in those positions because we're not teaching children real life skills at a young enough age. We're teaching things that don't really matter for today's life. I feel like, and I've always felt like, even as a teenager, what does teaching me or harping on me about history with people that are long gone, if you're not correlating this to my present, if there's no correlation to my present, just the knowledge of your past facts and events does nothing for me for my present. Instead, if you taught me something different, something that will actually carry with me for years, it would be a better use of your time. Imagine if we taught children the value of credit scores. I never sat through a class that taught me that. I've heard teachers say it maybe once or twice my whole life. Never had I seen a class about credit scores, real economics, like investing, real estate. I think all of these should be classes that we go through in high school. Real estate 101. Economics should be taught. That way, when the young woman who likes to braid hair, when she starts to come into her age of understanding, she can go down and get her business license. She can go to school, get her license, and now open up a beauty salon instead of just doing hair in the house. Or instead of just working for somebody else that has a salon. That'll be the difference. I think if we started earlier in our education system, we can catch, and like she said, we can catch these kids and actually present them a different way. Because nobody presented us a different way. Or maybe you did get presented a different way. But that was because your upbringing allowed for that. Everybody's doesn't. But if we have equality within the school systems, everybody will. And then our country can get on one level. It's sad when you see the history of America and you see that they push the greatness of our country, but you look at our children now, we're last in almost every category. We don't even invent things like we used to. I mean, what child wakes up and has a dream to create something? It's very rare that you see it. It's very rare that you see it outside of wanting to be a rapper, a singer, basketball player. What child wakes up and says, I have a dream to do this, build this, make this, or invent this? It's very rare. We don't see it. They don't push creativity in school enough. And we're in the land, and we're living in the days of creativity rules. You have children who make millions of dollars on YouTube, off of YouTube, who have shown themselves how to create a living for themselves off of something that adults may think was silly. We need to teach kids that in high school. Why not? We need to teach kids something that's going to be more valuable for them for the future. But I ain't going to keep harping on that. We're just going to let that go. episode was brought to you by Muhammad's Chicken. It's my very first sponsor. Shout out to Muhammad's Chicken. Frying them dollar wings all day. They still open during Corona. Hopefully they're keeping it safe in there. This has been another episode of Community Soldier. Before we go, we just want to tell the people to be safe out there. I know we stuck in the house once again for another 2 weeks. Plus there's limits on what we can buy. There's limits on what we can do. Hopefully everybody just takes this time to find themselves. The best thing you can do is find knowledge yourself. When you come across it, there's no better feeling. We got to stay out the stores. I know it's going to suck, but there's nothing that you can't get in the store that you can't buy for yourself online. I know it sucks to pay the shipping fees. I know it sucks to have to wait for it. But if you need garden supplies that bad, you can get them online. It's just that simple. Just stay in the crib for 2 weeks. I mean, the government is paying you to stay in the crib for 2 weeks. Whether you're getting a stimulus check or whether your job is paying your salary or whether you're going to collect unemployment, you're about to get paid to sit in the house for 2 weeks. Make your house as comfortable as possible as you can and just stay in the house. That's all it is to it. Another edition of Community Soldier.
Today threats still on hinges as we try to come to grips with tomorrows that are so different than the ones we had envisioned. Things that we had pictured, for the peace we still won't listen. Nothing good is ever given, they take work and not commitment. But things have been so hard for so long that if I step forth, I won't call you on the door. Just I won't cast you on the scarf, as I will recognize survival. Witness perseverance, so am I the judge of sinking ship when I help steer it. Nobody that's who. If I ever get brave enough to ask you, who was it stole your gaze? Love was okay, I know I trapped you. I know my father to pass through. Know that I can change that. Still every knocking door filled me. Hope that you done came back. And every creaking floor sounds like the feet that I adored. That once were leaving out the door of this house that I restore. I slapped some paint on it, made it look good as new. Just we try to hide the crumbling foundation beneath me and you. Oh no, we'd end up right here between the spinning earth and each other's spheres. So know the magic fade just as quickly as it came, not us. If we had, we might have changed. So no, we'd end up right here between the spinning earth and each other's spheres. So know the magic fade just as quickly as it came, not us. If we are, we might have changed. I know you're tired of waiting for me to be the man I can be. I know that as we come to full term, you regret not choosing plan B. I know the contradictions on my lips and now you understanding. I know at times our love feels lost, it's only stranded, but I'm holding on. So it's never been close to perfect. Rather, my fears rework with another person's life and burden. It still somehow seem worth it. Cause you have my back like church pews. But if we break up, we'll not curse you for too much good has been given birth to. In this garden, though hearts may harden and get lethargic, we come too damn far with no magic carpet. Yeah, we missed the target, but we could restart this. Are you with me? Do you agree? Love, do you see we had the potential to be? If you don't, we die before, and this all ends tragically. I will write us a happy ending, all the way things should have been. Oh no, we'd end up right here between the spinning earth and each other's spheres. So know the magic fade just as quickly as it came, not us. If we had, we might have changed. So no, we'd end up right here between the spinning earth and each other's spheres. So know the magic fade just as quickly as it came, not us. If we are, we might have changed. I wrote this song 3 months into our marriage. At the time it felt accurate, but looking back I'm embarrassed that I showed so much to blame that I shouldn't have had to carry on my own. And I know that perspectives may vary, and I know that how we had responded totally based on context, but how you handle yourself through this process was fucking nonsense. And if I were a better man, I'd have stopped before I come to this. But my context dreaming of one more human not able to take ownership of their decisions, subconscious and full intention. So I broke the chain and linked this, escape from the wretched prison you so gladly welcomed me into. I should have let it create a distance. Instead, I made my home amongst the fears you carry with you. But I saw signs in the fire, you started running bridges I was still crossing. Then I'm not a shining knight, I'm a pauper, and this is taught me you can lead a horse to water, but if it's not thirsty when I drink. So my responsibility stands no further than walk with you to the brink of the lake, of the sink of the rivers of wisdom that might give you brief relief from the terrors in which the demons have let you live. But our time is ended, and the part I played I'm repenting. But I would have sold my soul to bring you peace, but you showed you wouldn't lift a finger to help me carry the mess that we created together. And although it was your best, I truly deserve better, cause you took every ounce of goodness that I possessed and reimagined the sins against you, then insisted I confess. And I did gladly, eager to be the God I made you, but our love worked like slavery, ill-intentioned, full of hatred. So I stopped trying to save you, cause life showed me that I can't, and I moved on. Now I don't give a fuck if you understand. Oh no, we'd end up right here, between the spinning earth and each other's spheres. Who knew the magic fade just as quickly as it came, not us. If we had, we might have changed, who knew? We'd end up right here, between the spinning earth and each other's spheres. Who knew the magic fade just as quickly as it came, not us. If we had, we might have changed.
You're now tuned in to Community Soldier. It's been a great episode. Education has been one of the major topics on today's episode. We had Miss Davita Quinn from Trusted Advisors, CEO of Family Lifestyle Solutions, talking to us about education. Education is definitely going to be the way to the future. I know we're tired of hearing it. I know we're tired of saying it. But we have to be educated. I mean, I really want to bring a couple guests on to talk about some of the conspiracy things that we're hearing and seeing on the Facebook about the 5G and the coronavirus. I want to bring on someone who is well versed in facts, someone who is well versed in the conspiracy, so that we can hear both sides and we can make our own judgments. And I'm hoping that people will actually go home and look up some facts. That way they're not fooled or rushed into believing one side or the other. Because I fear with watching something on a YouTube video or reading an article that we stumble across the internet, the problem is when you're doing that, you're only getting one side of it. So if I sat here and just gave you a whole bunch of flat earth facts and just rumbled a whole bunch of flat earth stuff for 45 minutes, I could probably convince some people that the earth is flat. But when you have somebody else, like a real scientist, to dispute some of those things that you're saying, then that gives room for people to come up with their own understanding. And that's what I fear, that these YouTube videos, they're actually hurting our children because they're learning from YouTube. People are learning from YouTube. I myself am a victim of a person who learns from YouTube. Anything that I want to do, I'm going to go to YouTube and I'm going to see if it's on there first. I'm going there first. If my header's blow in my car and I need to figure out how to change it, I'm going to type my car in on YouTube first and see if there's a video. I mean, it's a wonderful education tool when you use it like that. But when you use it the wrong way, it can have you thinking the earth is flat. Or that the 5G is causing coronavirus. Or it's breaking down our immune systems to the point now where we're more susceptible to the coronavirus. Who knows? I don't know. But I do understand science. And I do understand conspiracies. I'm just a person who likes to think. I challenge people on Facebook, and a lot of people think like I'm doing it to be trolling or something like that. But I really just do it to challenge people, to get them to think outside their box. I mean, all you see is the same stuff every day on Facebook. So when I see something, I want to challenge it sometimes. Maybe it's going to get them to open up a real website. I always tell people, show me a real website, and then I'll believe you. Show me a real website. Most people don't even understand how to even tell if they looking at a legit website. Like something that's legit. Or just something that Joe Blow created on Wilkes. You see what I'm saying? Some people don't even know how to tell the difference. Because if I pay Wilkes enough money or Google enough money, they'll host me a website that looks legit. You got to be able to tell the difference. It's been a great episode of Community Soldier. We're going to fade on out of here. We want to thank Davita Gwen for coming out. We want to thank you, most importantly, for tuning in and sharing the episodes. If you'd like to call into the show, we do have a call-in number. You can call into the show. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, send us an email at 517communitysoldier@gmail.com. 517communitysoldier@gmail.com. Send us a note. Let us know how you like the show. What are you listening to it on? Apple Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or you just tuning in through Spreaker. Either way, drop us a note. Let us know how you like the show. We're doing this from the house. We're following the orders. Social distancing. So we're just going to keep going every episode. We're going to keep going, keep getting better as we go. Hopefully, this all ends soon and we can get up out of the house and we can offer better content, because we also would like to bring live content, and we also want to bring video and visuals to match the audio that you hear. Community Soldier. If you got somebody that you want to nominate as a community soldier, get us the shout out and congratulate for the work that they've been doing in the community. Send us a note at 517communitysoldier@gmail.com. Let us know who that person is. There's lots of people that are worth it. Lots of people that are worth it. You guys stay safe out there. Hope everybody finds themselves during this time of quarantine. Stay in the house. Stay off the streets. Only go out if you need to. Peace, love, and happiness, y'all.